Hi everyone, hope you're all well. So a lot of people have been asking for a video on the blank game week and the double game week fixtures. So this video is all about those blank game week 18 and double game week 19 fixtures which have both been confirmed this week. So I'll be covering everything you need to know, which will include the fixtures, the teams, the players, chip strategy, and also a free hit draft for those that are considering it. In my opinion, blank game week 18 is the best week to use your free hit team, so I'll get onto that in a little bit and why I think so. So this is my team at the moment. I do just want to give a mention actually to a browser add-on called FPL Tools. Really handy. It basically puts the fixtures below the players like this. This is if you use the FPL site on your browser. They've got a Firefox and a Chrome add-on. I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that, but it's really handy, especially when you can see the blanks here, these little black boxes, and again you'll see the doubles once we get into game week 14. So I've put together a modified version of the ticker which includes all of the blanks and the double game week fixtures. I'll leave a link to this below in the description of this video, and I will have posted it on my Twitter at the same time that I've uploaded this video. So 10 teams have a blank game week in game week 18, and those same 10 have a double game week in 19. So those 10 teams that don't blank are as follows. So it's Arsenal, who play Crystal Palace at home. Spurs have got Aston Villa away. Wolves have got Everton at home. Villa, as I just mentioned, plays Spurs. Brighton have got Man City away. Everton have got that Wolves fixture above. Man City have got Brighton at home, great fixture for City in the blank. Newcastle have got Sheffield away, and that's the Sheffield fixture below, so they're playing at home to Newcastle, and Palace are away at the Emirates. Now this is the biggest blank game week of the season, we know this already, so this is why, as I mentioned just now, I believe this will be the best game week to use your free hit chip. There will be blanks in the season later on as well, for sure, but it won't be as big as this, so you could argue that those blanks will be a bit easier to navigate, whereas navigating blank game week 18 is going to be very difficult without using a chip. And the free hit is a perfect chip really, because it's like a 1 week wildcard, and then your team reverts back to how it was. So using your wildcard in game week 18 isn't ideal really, because then you're stuck with that team game week 19. So the teams with a double game week in 19, and obviously the blank before, I'll just go through the list from the top. So West Ham, they've got 2 home fixtures. Leeds, we've also got 2 home fixtures. Chelsea, 2 away fixtures. Liverpool, 2 home fixtures again. West Brom, 2 away. Leicester, both at home. Man United play Liverpool away and then Fulham away, so a bit of a mixed bag there. Southampton got Leicester and Leeds. Burnley play West Ham and Liverpool. And Fulham, who've got 2 tough home fixtures against Chelsea and Man U. So in terms of players or areas of the team to target, for West Ham I think you can actually target both defence and attack here. So the likes of Cresswell and Kufal look like very good options in defence. Likewise in attack, if Antonio's back and fit by then, he could be a great option. He ended last season very strongly, including those 4 goals against Norwich if anyone remembers, so very enticing double game week there. And again, you could also look at a player like Bowen, or even Souček if you're considering a bench boost, which I know that many are. Souček could be the perfect enabler to go on your bench for that double game week. So for Leeds, again, I think you can look to target attackers, so the likes of Bamford, and also defenders such as Dallas or Ayling. So I've recorded this in the middle of game week 13, and Leeds beat Newcastle 5-2 last night, and goals came from all over the pitch, including Bamford and Dallas. So a good team to load up on, again, because they've also got the cheap players in their team, so they're a good route to enable some big hitters in your team, the likes that we'll get onto in a moment. So Chelsea, they've got that Fulham game away, which is a great fixture on paper. Certainly you'll want a defender, maybe two. I think a lot of people have got Chilwell at the moment, or James. They're both very popular picks, but you could also look at someone like Mendy in goal. And potentially in attack, if Werner has found some form by then, or you fancy a punt, he could be a good option. And likewise if Ziyech, who I believe will be back by then, or maybe Pulisic if he's nailed a spot and looking back to his best. Liverpool have got the two home fixtures at Anfield, as I mentioned, so certainly I think Liverpool are a team you want to triple up on for that double game week. So certainly Salah, maybe you'll want to double up in midfield and get Mane. I'm not sure if Jota will be back by then, but if he is, you might want to consider him as an enabler. Or if not, you might want to triple up through your defence. Maybe you'll pick up Robertson or Trent, both very good options. Liverpool, for all we know by then, could be more solid in defence. Certainly they've conceded a bit less recently than they did earlier in the season. West Brom have got two away fixtures, so they're probably an avoid. However, Allardyce has just been hired by West Brom, so certainly a team I'm keeping an eye on. Perhaps one of their defenders could emerge as a good option, or maybe their keeper. Leicester, I've got those two home fixtures, so there you could look at someone like Vardy, or equally in defence there could be a good option such as Justin or Castagna, but you will want to keep an eye on Pereira, who's returning from injury. He could pose a rotation threat to the likes of Justin or Castagna, because they're both capable of playing at left back or right back. So in a way Leicester have got quite a few options there, and we might see some rotation potentially. Man United have got Liverpool away and then Fulham away. So Bruno's a very popular pick, and I certainly think he's a player you'll want to have in your double game week team. But you may also want to look at someone like Rashford, maybe one of their defenders, Maguire, someone like that. But certainly you'll want to have at least one Man United player for that double game week, maybe two. Bruno's shown that he's got a very good track record away, and both of those are away. So Southampton, not terrible fixtures, but not great either. They've got Leicester and Leeds away. Again, you could look at someone like Adams as an option up front in your team, maybe even Ings. Oh no, I just got a Windows notification as I was recording. I'm not even going to restart, forget it. I'm way too far into this video. Burnley have got West Ham away and Liverpool away. So two tough fixtures. I think they're an avoid, to be honest with you. And lastly, Fulham have got Chelsea at home and Man United at home. So again, I think those are probably avoids. So one thing I wanted to mention that I think a lot are forgetting is that there are a few teams that blanked in Game Week 1, and obviously Villa and Newcastle blanked in Game Week 11 as well. So there's potential for those to be moved into 17 or maybe 18 or 19. So that's something to keep an eye on as well. We've had all this exciting news with the blanks and doubles, but there could be some more to come. And that will basically be dependent on the outcome of the League Cup quarterfinals. And those are going to be played on the 22nd and the 23rd of December. So that will come next week if you're watching this video now. So keep an eye on those results. We could end up with more teams in the double game week. For me, I've got Grealish and Watkins. I know that Villa have been popular picks this season, and they could end up with a double game week too. Certainly at some point this season they will do, because they've got two postponed fixtures now that need rearranging from both 1 and 11. So there's many ways to approach the blank game weeks and double game weeks. I mentioned earlier that I'm looking to free hit in game week 18, because that's just a 1 week punt where I can bring in players that I'd like, and then I'll go back to the team that I've got. So for anyone that's not used their first wildcard, the obvious answer here is to wildcard in Game Week 17 and to load up on players that play in Game Week 19. And then you can obviously free hit in Game Week 18 as a temporary measure, and then you'll obviously revert back to your team from the wildcard. And if you do still have your wildcard, then I think the best strategy is to bench boost in Game Week 19, because you've essentially loaded up on all the players you want, and then you can bench boost almost straight away. So that's a very viable chip strategy. Yeah, so in my case, my current thinking is that I'm going to use my free transfers over the next 4 or 5 weeks to build up a team for Game Week 19. However, I'm personally leaning towards triple captaining in double Game Week 19 as opposed to bench boosting. And the reason for that is if I use up my free transfers, I'm just going to jump back to my team here. If I use up my free transfers over the next 4 or 5, the players that I'm going to have to address are basically these 4 on my bench you can see here, and I feel it's probably not the most effective way to just use up my next 4 transfers on these 4. Certainly in goal it's going to be a waste to be using up transfers on goalkeepers just to target a bench boost in Game Week 19. So I'm personally leaning towards a triple captain in Game Week 18. Sorry, a triple captain in Game Week 19, and then I'll have my second wildcard for later in the season, and that's when I may want to look at bench boosting, because there will be more blanks and double game weeks to come later in the season, and I'm of the opinion that it's best to wildcard and then bench boost straight away, because you're basically maximising the potential of your bench boost if you are wildcarding right before it, because you're picking up the players that you want, exactly the team that you want. So herd mentality is very common when it comes to chip usage. However, we saw last season especially that no specific approach is better than another. For those that remember, after the restart last season they gave everyone unlimited transfers, so that almost acted like another wildcard. So we saw a lot of players playing very different approaches to the tail end of the season, and there wasn't a standout way of approaching those remaining game weeks in the doubles. So I think it's best to look at your own team and assess from there. However, that's my thoughts and the way I'm currently thinking I'll approach the blank and double. And as I mentioned, Game Week 18 is the biggest blank of the season, so for that reason, logically, I think it's probably the best week to use the free hit. So I've put together an early free hit draft, which I did just want to share on screen before I finish. And you can see here how drastically different this team is to my current team that I showed earlier, which is why I feel it's best to use the free hit in Game Week 18, because it is just a 1 week punt and then you can revert back to your team, as opposed to using a wildcard or using free transfers for the blank, which I don't think is the most effective way personally. So this is an early draft. This is a 3-4-3, and then I've left myself with Basham as a bench option, just in case one of them wasn't to play. We'll finish up in a second by going back to the ticker that I put together, but you can see here the obvious players to target are the Spurs and City players who don't blank in Game Week 18, so therefore I think those are the obvious standout picks. And I've included Fabio Silva. You know, it's a 1 week punt, so why not consider someone like him just to keep it interesting, someone who may do well. You know, he's nailed down a spot with Jimenez absent, and he could be a good enabler for you on that blank game week. So yeah, as I say, I will leave a link to the ticker in the description. Ben Krillin is obviously a very good resource on Twitter as well for the blanks and the doubles throughout the season. So I definitely recommend following him, but if you'd like to look at this ticker yourself, then certainly it's in the description. I recommend bookmarking it, and that's what I've done, and I'm constantly jumping back to it just, you know, in case I look at it and anything new comes to mind. But hopefully this video has helped, and that's my current thoughts on the blanks and the doubles. If anyone's new to the channel, please do subscribe. We do multiple streams every week, and then the odd video like this as well when there's a major talking point. So I do appreciate that, and obviously leave a like as well while you're here if you have enjoyed the video. And thanks for watching.